بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. We've been discussing different types of approach to intellectual issues in the Islamic world. We talked about the Mu'tazilite approach, Asharite approach, Shiite theologians, and among the philosophers also we refer to peripatetic philosophy, or illuminationist philosophy. So a little bit now we talk about al-hikmatul muta'aliyah, the transcendent philosophy of Mullah Sadra. So the term transcendent philosophy was not introduced for the first time by Mullah Sadra. It was actually used even before him by Ibn Sina. For example, in his book Al-Isharat wa Tanbihat, Ibn Sina used this term. But it didn't become famous. When Mullah Sadra wanted to give a distinctive identity to his way of doing philosophy, he chose the term or expression transcendent philosophy, al-hikmah al-muta'aliyah, and then it was well received and became popular. So when we say al-hikmah al-muta'aliyah now, we mean by that the philosophy of Mullah Sadra. And there are, of course, many people who came after Mullah Sadra, and they are within the same school of Hikmat al-Muta'aliyah, because they believe in the same principles that Mullah Sadra developed, and they choose the same methodology that Mullah Sadra followed. Transcendent philosophy of Mullah Sadra is something that is not just a combination of peripatetic philosophy and illuminationist philosophy. It's not that just you put them together and mix them like a salad, and but it tries to get positive points from both Hikmat al-Masha and Hikmat al-Ishraq. Hikmat al-Ishraq is very much interested in our mystical findings and in a spiritual, development in order to understand better. Peripatetic philosophy is purely theoretical and purely based on arguments. So Mullah Sadra tries to benefit from both. Actually, in some of his works, he also benefits from Quran, from Hadith. But the idea is not to mix them. The idea is to come up with a harmonious way of looking at things. So he brings philosophical arguments, and when he's doing philosophy, he does philosophy. But at the same time, he makes sure that this is compatible with Quran, with Hadith. Or for example, this is something that can be also supported by mystical experiences. So he himself was very much interested in mysticism and spirituality. So he tried to bring a kind of comprehensive, holistic approach to these issues based on aql, based on naql, based on shuhud and ishraq. And this is very important achievement of Mullah Sadra. But also another important thing about Mullah Sadra is that he managed to clarify lots of issues based on the principles that he developed and methodology that he suggested. So some of the issues that for centuries remained to be controversial, he managed to clear them and clarify them. One of the things that you need to know is why his major book is called Al-Asfar al-Arba'. Al-Asfar is his major book. It's called Al-Asfar al-Arba'. Some people who didn't know the reason behind calling this, they thought asfar is the plural for sefr, which means book. In the Quran we have مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا. Asfaran in that ayah means books. Is the plural for sefra. Also, for example, in the Bible, we have sefro takmin, sefro tathniya, is kitabu takmin. But when Mullah Sadra says al asfarul arba'a or aqliyatul arba'a, for safar, not for sefr, means for journeys. For journeys. And this is a very important idea in mysticism, that human beings have 4 journeys in front of them. Okay?
As far as seen?
Seen, yeah. Like safar, but in the same meaning of journey. And sef also, sef is seen, safar seen, but journey. Please pay attention to these 4 types of journey. Of course, this is journey for people who want to get closer to God, closer to perfection, because we have also journey away from God, journey towards falsehood. But if you want to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are 4 journeys. You know, in our Hawza we have 4 years, so there are also 4 journeys. So inshallah, every year if we can make this journey. But some of the time these journeys takes decades, you know. But there is no reason why it should take decades. It can be faster. The first journey is sayr or safar, as-sayru min al-khalq ila al-haq. As-sayru min al-khalq ila al-haq. The journey is from creation or from people. Khalq can mean people, can mean creation. Towards the truth, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-haq. Okay? So you start with being busy with this natural world, but then you have to move towards al-haq. But you may say then, if we move towards haq, then it's finished? No. Then what you do, sayr fil haqq bil haqq. Then you would have a journey in the realm of al-haq. The second. So from here, you move towards haq. Then the second stage is you go around in haq. You try to discover haq. Okay? Yes. So when you are there, of course, you have to be following the haq, following the truth. So going around, discovering the kingdom of, not kingdom, even more than kingdom, the world of haq bil haq. Then you come back. Sayre min al haq ila al khalq bil haq. Because sometimes you go upward and then you come back without gaining anything. It's just a kind of losing what you have achieved. When we say go back, not losing what you have achieved, means now you have got acquainted with haq. You feel now responsible to come back to this world of people. So, sayr min al haqq ila al khalq bil haqq. I wish, can you stop it? I write it on the board. Can you stop the microphone, the camera?
Can you pull the board this up?
Yeah. Okay, so as we discussed and put on the board, there are 4 journeys according to the mystics. The first journey is sayr min al khalq ila al haq. You are with people, you are busy with worldly activities, You try to find your way back to God and discover more the realm of deity. So this journey, this transition from dunya to the world of deity and haq is the first journey. The second, سير بالحق في الحق. So when you go there, you don't quickly come back. You need some time to familiarize yourself with that world of al-haq, know more about it, discover it, get used to it, form and shape your character based on what is there, breathe there as much as possible, so that that air of light goes into your cell. Then you come back. So the third journey is سير من الحق إلى الخلق, but بالحق. If this بالحق was not there, it means that you have gone back the same way you came. You don't want to go back the same way you came. You want to go back with a change. Yeah? Imagine, for example, like a person, for example, goes from his home to Jose. He spends some time there. If he goes back to what he used to be, it means that he has achieved nothing. He goes back to the home, but he's a different person. Okay? Now he has additional light. سير من الحق إلى الخلق بالحق is the third. And then سير في الخلق بالحق. Then he goes around inside the society, meets people, mixes with people, but he is always at the service of haq. Okay? So these are four journeys that mystics talk about it. Mullah Sadra has used the same idea in order to classify the issues of philosophy that he discusses in his book. So basically he divides philosophical questions according to these four journeys. So, corresponding to the first journey, he talks about the general discussions about existence. Yeah, so السير من الخلق إلى الحق. So about أحوال عامة, general properties of existence. Inshallah, this is what you will see. For example, وجود is either واجب or ممكن. بالقوة or بالفعل. واحد or كثير. ذهني or خارجي. So these are general issues of philosophy. After that, he moves on to the second part of philosophy, and that is about Tawheed, knowing God, divine attributes. سير في الحق بالحق. To know more about God and His attributes. Then, coming from al-haq to khalq bil-haq, corresponding to this, he studies issues related to divine actions, because divine actions manifest in this world. And then, corresponding to the fourth journey, he talks about human soul and resurrection. Human soul and resurrection. So, he used a terminology which was familiar to mystics in order to classify his book. Why? Because he's very interested in spirituality. And also he sees that these are four, not section only, these are also four levels. There is a connection between. It's not that, sometimes you just say 1, 2, 3, 4 sections for a book. Sometimes you see each section is like a level, like a stage. So his idea was these are different stages for philosophy.
How many books are these volumes for us?
9.
9.
Yes.
The first سير السير من الخلق إلى الحق.
Yeah.
It's بالحق or by
No.
himself.
No, it cannot be بالحق because you have not reached حق.
By himself. بنفسه.
No.
Yeah, this sufferer. This.
If you say بنفسه, then he can never become بالحق. So it's a journey that gradually you try to forget yourself and reach God. So he's a person who is looking for God, looking for haqq, but has not yet reached. He moves on till he finally gets to that stage. Okay, now we go to the third chapter. Definition of philosophy. We have many issues in this chapter. What is the subject matter in general? And what is the subject matter of philosophy? What is the aim and objectives of studying philosophy? What are, the things that we can benefit from if we study philosophy? All these things about philosophy. So the first thing, موضوع علم, subject matter of science. There are lots of discussions about this issue which are not relevant to us. Okay? So what you need to do and to know is that normally, because there's discussion, does really every science need to have a subject matter or not? But suppose that at least normally, most of the time, every science, every discipline is a cluster of propositions about one main topic, one main theme, which is the subject matter of that science. For example, medicine, at-tib. What is medicine? What makes medicine medicine? What makes this science of medicine? We have a central theme, and it is human body. Everything that is related to human body with respect to health and illness is related to the science of medicine. So the subject matter is human body with respect to health and illness. And anything related to this is discussed in this science. For example, geometry. You discuss different things related to what we call al-kammul muttasil, connected quantity. Inshallah, you study later, and also maybe you have already studied in other books that we have kam, and kam is muttasil and munfasil. Kam is one of the a'raz, one of the accidents, which is like quantity. It can be muttasil, there is no disconnection, like line, khat. When there's a line, this is kam muttasil. Or like time, zaman, is kam muttasil. But kam muttasil is mutasarrim wa ghayr mutasarrim. We don't want to discuss about this. Anyway, there is a connection here, there's a continuity here. But ilmul hisab, calculus, is about kam munfasil. It's about a'dad, it's about figures. Anyway, any science, physics, chemistry, logic, has a subject matter, and all the issues discussed in that science are related to that central theme. What about philosophy? What is the subject matter of philosophy? The subject matter of philosophy, as I said in the last session, is mawjood, being, or existent. Or you can say wujud. If you want to be very precise, you can say mawjood bima huwa mawjood. Being as such. Because we are not talking about a particular being, like human body. Human body is a particular being, it's discussed in medicine. Anything that relates to body in a general way, which means anything related to existence, not just body as body, is discussed in philosophy. Al-ahwal al-amma lil-mawjood bima huwa mawjood, or lil-wujud. So philosophy is not concerned about those things that are discussed in different disciplines and sciences, like empirical sciences, other sciences. Philosophy is looking at existence in a very general way. There is a kind of example here in the book. Imagine you have a palace or a big building. There are different rooms. In each room, you have limited space. These rooms are like different sciences. Each of them has its own realm, its own, space. But if someone goes on top of the building or on a hill and looks at the entire building, then he is not limited by the partitions or walls between the rooms. He can look at it in a very universal and general way. So, existence or reality is sometimes discussed by different sciences and it has its own scope. Sometimes you can look at it in a general way without limiting it to this particular area or that particular area. So philosophy is the science that looks at existence, not a specific existence, general existence. موجود بما هو موجود. And therefore, it's also able to help us to understand the connection between these rooms. Physics cannot tell you about chemistry. Like, when you are in the living room, you cannot understand what is in the kitchen. Yeah? Every room is partitioned. Someone who has always stayed in the living room doesn't know what is happening in the next room, guest room, for example. But the one who looks at the design from the top can see how many rooms are there, what is the relation between them. So philosophy can also help us in understanding relation between sciences. And also philosophy is like a mother for other sciences because it serves as the foundation and basis. And actually many sciences gradually developed out of philosophy. Okay? So philosophy is very important. There is a kind of terminology in the book which is very difficult to explain, but I explain very briefly. You study this in advanced books on usul al-fiqh. For example, like Kifaya, these books, And they say, موضوع كل علم موضوع. Can you stop the camera so that I write it on the board? So, our scholars say, موضوع كل علم, the subject matter of every science, any discipline, is that thing that in that science its essential properties are discussed. Now I can breathe. Okay? That
The subject matter of every discipline
is what is discussed in that science with respect to its essential properties. And there are lots of discussions. What do you mean by awarazih al-zatiyah? Lots of discussions. I don't need, I think, to discuss that. Basically, the idea is this. Every discipline has a subject matter, and everything which is discussed in that discipline is built around that subject matter, are issues that relate to that subject matter. Yeah? But the things which are essentially connected, because otherwise everything can be connected to another thing. How you distinguish between physics and chemistry and medicine and biology and geography and geology, the difference. We say, choose one subject, and anything which is essentially connected, anything that which is really related to that, we discuss it here. Anything that is accidentally, secondarily connected, leave it to its own discipline. Okay? For example, in medicine, we can talk about physics and chemistry because human body also has things that can be discussed in physics, but we leave them for physics and chemistry. Anything that is related to body with respect to health and illness, we discuss here. Anything other than that, we leave it for its own discipline. So you have to find where is more closely connected to that subject matter. Okay? So this is just the terminology that you need to know. Anyway, in philosophy, we talk about the properties that are for existence as such. Existence as such, not existence as becomes a physical object. Existence as become, for example, human body. Existence as becomes, for example, geography. No, just existence as such. What is the methodology that you use in philosophy? What methodology you use in philosophy? Pardon? The methodology of each science is decided according to the subject matter. You have to understand what is the subject matter based on that. For example, if you want to know about different nations, so this is anthropology, sociology. So definitely part of it is empirical, or major, or all of it, empirical. You have to go and see them, you have to ask, you maybe questionnaire, this type of thing. If you want to study history, you have to go and find evidence, remaining evidence from the past, like memos, pictures, old books, newspapers, this type of things. Yeah, if you want to do history. In history, you cannot, create your own narration. You have to find out. If you want to do biology, it has its own methodology. If someone wants to study being as such, he cannot use human five senses, for example. It's not empirical. Because موجود بما هو موجود is not something that can be seen or can be touched or can be smelled or can be tasted. Okay? You need to use aql. You have to follow rational approach. Philosophy is a science which is intellectual, is rational. One of the ulum aqli, one of the intellectual sciences is philosophy, like logic, for example. Yes, sometimes in philosophy you take something from sciences, from empirical sciences, as minor premise, Soghra. You remember Soghra and Kubra, two sisters that we talked about?
Logic.
Yeah, two sisters in logic. So minor premise and major premise. Okay? So sometimes we take a philosophical principle as Kubra, as major premise, and take something from science and form an argument. Like many discussions about tabi'iyat in philosophy, about nature. These are not purely philosophical, therefore they can be affected by the flow in the empirical information. In the past, they had many ideas in philosophical books, but because of their way of understanding the world. For example, they had the idea that the world is like onion. Did you know? Pardon?
Layers.
Yes, there are layers, and it's impossible to go from one layer to the other layer. Okay? Sab'at aflak, so there were like 7 layers on the top. Based on that worldview, which was their science, they came up with many philosophical ideas. When that changed, those philosophical ideas also changed. This is not because of philosophy being empirical. It's because there are applications of philosophy to science, and that application is partly rational and partly empirical. If the empirical side changes, the conclusion changes, but doesn't mean that the philosophical principle was mistaken. Okay? What is the benefit of studying philosophy? What is the benefit of studying philosophy?
We can
For example, why do you take this course on philosophy?
I know how to argument some subject without any source of any proofs.
The first benefit is that we have an excuse to meet. Yeah. So every Friday we meet because we are doing philosophy. But there are other benefits as well. So, yes.
It's to try to reach to the truth.
Yes. So first,
Mankind.
yes. So first we want to have a general view of the universe. Very general. Something that you cannot get it by studying different sciences. If you study any science other than philosophy, it doesn't give you that general, holistic understanding of the world. Philosophy is something that gives you one of the two. Either gives you a clear understanding of the world or gives you a headache. Many people study philosophy but they don't understand anything, they just get confused. But if you do proper philosophy, then you would understand the world in a different way. It's like putting a new glasses on your eyes so that you can see things in a general way, in a universal way, in an intellectual way. Okay? If you study philosophy properly, then you can connect things to each other. Okay? Like the person who is looking at the rooms from above and can see the connection between them. If you study philosophy, your heart becomes bigger. Yeah? You don't get angry so quickly because you see the world is so great that, what we see is very little. You become more, inshallah, interested in zuhd and asceticism. Anyway, philosophy helps you to understand the world and helps you to understand the truth. Philosophy helps you to understand what is real and what is not real. Unfortunately, in the course of history, many times people have believed in things that they didn't exist. They didn't have reality. Yeah? For example, sometimes people believe in gods other than one God. It has no reality. Sometimes people believe in chance. There's chance, bacht, chance, luck. But there is no such a thing. That things happen without any reason. No, everything has a reason. You go to street and you say, by chance I saw my friend after many years. But for you, this is a kind of chance, a kind of fortune. Otherwise, nothing happens in this world by chance. You say, by chance I went to a majlis and I benefited from that majlis a lot. This is not by chance. Either you have done something good that you deserve this, or this is a test to see whether you are going to act upon this or not. So either it's a result of a good action in the past, or it's a test for something in future, or it can be both. So nothing happens by chance. If you are here today, it's not by chance. Okay? This is result of a long chain of actions that has led to be here today, we are all here today. Anyway, these are the things that we are studying in philosophy. What is real, what is not real, and you can measure that. Also, in philosophy, you would be able to lay the foundation for all sciences. It's the mother of all sciences, and the main principles that we need for all sciences can be established in philosophy, of course, also in logic. All sciences need philosophy. All sciences need philosophy. We human beings, also for understanding ourselves, for understanding our role in this world, for understanding our faith, our relation with God, we need philosophy. So, what are the main issues that we discuss in philosophy? That's the last point for today, inshallah. We said Mullah Sadra divides his philosophical question into 4 categories. Here we have 5 categories. Okay? First, issues related to existence or non-existence, or existence and mahiyya, because sometimes existence is used as opposite to non-existence. Al-wujud wal-adam, al-wujud wal-adam, existence and non-existence. Sometimes we say al-wujud wal-mahiyya, because mahiyya is also something which is just in our mind. Outside, according to Mullah Sadr, we have only wujud, existence. Inshallah, in the discussion about asalatul wujud awal mahiyya, we discuss this. So, existence and non-existence, or existence and mahiyya. This is the first section of the book. Second, we study different types of existence. For example, we have al-wujud al-ayni and wujud al-dhihni, external existence and mental existence. Wahid and kathir, one and multiple. Qawwa and fi'l, potential and actual. So all different major classifications of existence. Third, in philosophy we talk about general rules that govern the existence, like aliyya, causality. Causality is a very important principle, and we have to study it in philosophy. Or, for example, senkhiyya. There must be a kind of relation between cause and effect. It's not that every cause can be the cause for every effect. Yeah? For a particular effect, there can be a specific cause. It's not that every cause can cause every effect. Yeah? If you want, for example, rain, there is a cause for it. If you want, for example, light, there is a cause for it. If you want, I don't know, to fill your stomach, there is a cause for it. So you cannot expect from any cause all the effects. There must be a kind of relation, a kind of similarity between cause and effect. Or, for example, there is a necessity between cause and effect. When you have complete cause, al-illatu tamma, necessarily the effect follows. You cannot have the complete cause and the effect doesn't come. لا يمكن تخلف المعلول عن العلة التامة. When the cause is complete, definitely the effect is there. These are issues that inshallah we discuss in the third part of the book. And the fourth part is about different levels or layers of existence, different realms. The first is what we call nature or nasut. This, physics, the world of physics. Then we have alam mithal or malakut, where we have things that have no physical body. You cannot touch them, you cannot smell them, but they have some properties of physical things or material things, like shape. Like, for example, when you have a dream of someone, that is mithal. Dream is mithal, or hayat. In barzakh you have mithali existence. Above that is intellectual existence or abstract existence, mujarradat. And finally, God. So there are 4 levels: alam madde, alam mithal, alam uqul tamme, mujarradat tamme, and alam ilah. So basically God and 3 levels under God. Okay? So these are the things that inshallah we discuss in the 4th section of the book.
It's like angel, aqul tama.
Angel is in uqul tam, according to philosophers, of course. Yes. Pardon?
The first one is the realm.
All of them are realms, but the lowest is the world of nature, where there is time, there is motion, change.
Is this dunya?
Dunya, yeah. Finally, the fifth part of the book is about the relation between nature, the world of physics, nature, and those higher realms. How the things go upward or come downward. These are the things that we discussed in the last part of the book. I hope, inshallah, Allah gives us tawfiq to not only understand philosophy, but also to, inshallah, do those 4 journeys, inshallah. من الخلق إلى الحق في الحق بالحق من الحق إلى الخلق بالحق في الخلق بالحق إن شاء الله وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
This Arabic terminology again, please.